Hi Aries, and welcome to your spring romance forecast. This tarot reading will cover the time frame of March 21st through June 21st, 2020. So we're going to be looking about 3 months span of time and just see what's going on with you guys. So let's get your reading started, Aries. Okay, feelings ignited. So this is the primary energy from around March 21st through April 21st, give or take a few days. And April 21st through May 21st, we have romantic gesture. So this so far is a beautiful progression of something. And now we have in pursuit for May 21st through June 21st. So Aries, this right here is very positive. I like to see that right out the gate, to know that this is going to be a fun reading, because when it's positive, it's a really fun reading for me to give. So I love when Spirit brings that forth, and you guys are lucky in love in the springtime, okay? For singles, this here looks like you're meeting somebody, okay? Feelings are ignited, and this can happen between the end of March through around the 20th of April. There's like feelings are igniting, and this could be a brand new person coming in, or this could be somebody you already are kind of talking to, and things are really going to start spicing up and heating up, okay, as you move into the spring. Those of you who are already connected to somebody, committed, or yeah, I'm going to go with committed. It looks like there's an improvement to love and romance for you right here. Things are picking up, and it's almost like you're falling in love again. So whether you're single or you are with somebody, this reading that's coming through for Aries is definitely about falling in love, reignition to old love, or brand new love coming in. And then, end of April through about the 20th of May, it's romantic. It's flattery. It's romantic gestures, gifts, dates. It's spending a really special time together that is building a long term relationship. And now in pursuit, I'm getting a couple of different things with this, Aries. Some of you, there may be more than one person trying to get your attention or be in your life, or Aries, you may be dating a couple of different people, those of you who are single, because in pursuit, it's like, in one hand, I see this relationship really heating up. And, as we move into the end of May through June, right before we hit summer, it's like it's still very fresh, like back and forth. Like, I want to impress you. I want to woo you, all of those things. So this is like a romance that's really taking off, falling in love, and all those wonderful things it entails, the honeymoon phase. And then on the other hand, for some Aries out there, I feel like as this romance is blossoming, there's somebody else like trying to come in and pursue you as well. So as you move into the summer months, that you may open up to a couple of different options for people that you're interested in, okay? But nonetheless, single Aries, it looks like love is on the table. It is up for offer for you guys. Now, those of you in existing romances, this to me is I feel like you guys are like brand new again. That's all I can say. Maybe you guys have recently reconnected, or you have gone through a period of like, maybe one of you was in the military, or somebody had to be away for a long period of time for some purpose, or you guys have just been going through a lot, and there's been a lot of distance and disconnection, and now it's like a coming back together, and one person really pursuing strongly to keep this relationship together, keep it connected. A lot of romantic gestures, flattery, all of those things. So those of you in existing relationships, if one person wasn't fully invested, or there was just some big distraction, it's like that's dissipating as you move into the spring months, and you guys are just falling in love all over again. It's quite beautiful. All right, let's pull some more cards. mutual spiritual awakening, support and encouragement, dream rendezvous, karmic flame journey, connection mistaken as twin flame, and repeating signs. All right. Okay, so who do I want to start with? We are going to start with couples first because this is more of a straightforward message for you couples out there. Yeah, so what I see here is there's this awakening at the soul that's taking place inside you and inside your partner, and now it's more of a mutual, equal exchange of energy, okay? Feelings ignited that it's attached to the spiritual awakening. And in that space, it's changing things inside the person who wasn't fully invested. And now with Dream Rendezvous and Karmic Flame Journey, that reconnection I felt, some of you could have been separated by like a third party karmic romance or relationship. And it could have been you guys were together, you broke up because of it, or you guys broke up for other reasons. And through your separation, one or both of you got into other relationships that were actually just karmic, okay? So couples who have reunited, there's definitely karmic energy that had to be resolved, and through the separation you guys were never truly separated. And in those other relationships, it could have been like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. But after a period of time, it was realized this is not where I'm supposed to be. And repeating signs lead you guys back to each other. Okay. And so, you know, because I see this happening more at the end of April and May, or I'm sorry, the end of May through June right here. Some of you, it could be that, you know, as we move into the spring energy, there's this awakening happening. Those of you who are separated for karmic reasons or like a third party type of situation, and now that's starting to resolve. And by the time, you know, we're moving into the end of May through the first 20 days of June, there's this awakening of this is where I belong. And it's like you guys coming back together. Okay, that's a story there. For others of you, in a relationship, you guys, you're overcoming some karmic energy that you've been working towards. And there may have been a point where you thought, maybe we're not the best for each other, or we're not right for each other. But all of that's changing as the spring comes in. There is a mutual spiritual awakening. And again, it's like you guys are falling in love, growing close. There could be something that's happened that brings you guys even closer together, okay? Or potentially maybe one of you was hung up on somebody else still healing, and now that's dissolving, and there's a realization is that we belong together, okay? Now, for those singles out there, yes, I do feel there is an option of two coming through, maybe even multiple, where there's a very strong potential with one of these people. And then, you know, somebody here is karmic. They're not, it's a very short-lived romance. And potentially, maybe it's that the one that's, you know, could be serious, you're kind of pushing off to the back burner and investing more time in the karmic. But you will be getting repeating signs, you know, by the end of May through June, who you really belong with or who's the best one for you. So those of you who are dating and, you know, you meet a couple of people, like you're dating a couple of people, or there's just like a couple of people in pursuit of you, by, you know, the time we get close to summer, you're going to know who you really belong with and who you want to be with. But it's like you're being wooed and romanced. And Aries, be careful of this, because some of you could be in a brand new relationship, like love comes knocking and it's really beautiful, and somebody from the past, it tries to show back up into your present. Now, the way I see this is, if you're in a new relationship and it's beautiful and it's equal, you know, we got support and encouragement going on here, but maybe you have some unresolved emotions connected to an ex. If that ex shows up during the spring months and you're already in this beautiful new blossoming romance, to me, it's time to let the ex go. There's enough repeating signs that you don't belong there anymore. And you know, I get it, even if you're really happy with somebody new, it's hard to let go of the emotion or the dream of the reconciliation of somebody from the past. But you know, I feel like if you're already in this new romance, okay, this ex isn't where you should get tangled back up into. It's, you belong where you're at, this new romance. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Now, singles out there, you know, I do see that reconciliation, but I don't feel like there's another person currently involved. If anything, any sort of other relationship is dissolving, and that's why you're coming back together, okay? So if there's no relationship on your side or their side, then yeah, you have that message of reconciliation. However, if you're in a new relationship that's beautiful, Aries, you should really stick with that and see where that takes you, and leave the past in the past, at least for now, because this is beautiful, blossoming love and romance. So let's pull a couple of cards to look at both sides here. Okay, so we have tears, it hurts, and scared. This is temporary and will pass. And then over here we have unforgiving and all no repair. And one-sided, emotionally selfish and immature. Okay, so yeah, those of you where you are in a new relationship and there's still unresolved emotions inside of you for an ex, or inside the person that you're dating for an ex, all of that's going to come to an end throughout the month of spring, okay? It's like the end of the past, and there's beautiful new romance here for you. So if you're the one that's hung up on somebody, this new love is really meant to heal you and allow you to leave the past behind. And maybe if you thought that was your twin flame you're leaving behind, I mean, we've got karmic flame twice here. So this new romance, you know, is so much healthier for you. It doesn't mean you and this person will never get back together, but if this is present and this person is showing up, or you're having a hard time letting go, now is the time to do so, because it's like water under the bridge. And now if the person you are dating has been hung up on somebody of the past, I feel they're finally receiving that healing through this spiritual awakening journey, and then feelings ignited, and they're making the choice to be all into this and leave their past behind, okay? And now there is that contingency for those of you who are separated from somebody, but you're not currently with anybody, they're not currently with anybody. Those karmic relationships are dissolving, and spirit will bring you back together, okay? And you'll be having dreams about it, dreaming about each other before that takes place. But it will be a whole different journey this time around, because we have a mutual spiritual awakening. And so in order for that relationship to work, it's like you both have to come in to this awakening to elevate your vibrations and meet in a different space, all right? Now, those of you committed with each other, I really do feel you're overcoming a lot of the past issues that you've struggled with, okay? You really are 100% with this. You're overcoming it and falling in love. And you know, I didn't get this message before, but I'm kind of getting it now. Some of you in relationships, it might be that you're finally at the end of your rope in your current romance, like you've given it your all, and you're about to break free of that because you're done with it. And shortly after the end of that, there's like this beautiful romance just coming into your world, okay? And singles out there, just wow. Go with the new, go with what feels good, go with what's pursuing you, because I do see some karmic energy around you, and it's an ex, like, or somebody that you've been messing around with that you really feel is super significant. And you know, karmics can feel that way 100% for sure. And oh my gosh, that's the card that jumped out as I was shuffling. The relationship is over. Yeah, it's somebody of the past, it's time to let it go and open your heart up to what Spirit's trying to bring in now, because it's a beautiful love now. And you've got to remember, the person you're hung up on was just a stranger once to you. So Spirit can bring you a new stranger, and you guys can have an instant connection and bond, because if you're soulmates, that's just how it goes. You've got to open yourself up to the possibility of that, though, okay? So let's pull some more cards. So we have Axe, a breakup, separation, a stop the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment, wedding rings, union. Oh, well, that one just jumped right out of my hand. Oh, healing heart. Coffin. Look at the ending to Karmics. Self-indulgence. And photograph. Okay. Aries, you know, I hate to say this for you singles out there. It's almost like there's this ex, this person, or, you know, this person that never committed to you, and it's like they just kind of hang around in the peripheral, and once they see that you're with somebody else, it's like then they decide they want you. That's when they decide to start pursuing you again. And based on what's come out here, no, Aries, leave that person in the past, because it's like they only like the chase. They only want what they think they can't have, and Spirit's trying to bring you a beautiful new romance. So singles, this reading, and I know some of you don't want to hear it, but it is so time to let the past go and tell Spirit, I open my heart to new love. I'm ready to resolve the karmics. I'm ready for the real deal. You know, I can only forgive so much. If somebody continues to hurt you and do the same thing over and over and over, Aries, they always will. They're not learning, they're not evolving, they're not growing, and you can't forgive enough, or you can't give a long enough silent treatment to break that pattern within them. It's an inside job. It's something that they have to come into awareness about themselves. So those of you who are in committed relationships that may be at the end, because I do see that, I picked up on that message, you know, if you really feel in your heart and your soul that you're done and this is not the relationship for you, and it's like the signs are just repeating over and over and over, you need to ask your spiritual team to help make you strong enough mentally and emotionally to end the relationship, to free yourself from it. Because man, it's like as soon as you get out of it, there's a much healthier romance that shows up. And usually I recommend waiting a long period, 6 months to a year, between relationships, but everybody's life path and story is different. And so those of you in these like more toxic relationships that you're really wanting to get out of, I see you getting out of them, and it's like right on the heels of that, there's this beautiful new romance that just shows up. Okay. Others of you in committed relationships, it's like the opposite of that, where the person who is screwing up or not totally giving their all is finally having this awakening. And throughout the month of spring, or the months of spring, it's like a pursuit of romance, of love, of affection, you know, really being all in, and leaving their own past behind, especially if they were like hung up or really having a hard time about a relationship of their past. And it doesn't have to be they were emotionally pining for somebody, but if they went through a lot of crap, you know, it takes a while to work through that emotionally, and it's like that's finally complete. They're ready to leave the past behind and give this relationship their all. Okay, so it's beautiful. I do like it, but you know, it's some of you, it is just really time to leave the past, and you're in a new relationship and that person comes back around. Nope, it's not because they've had this great epiphany. It's because now you look unavailable, you seem off limits. Okay, but I have to keep bringing up that contingency. Those of you who are separated and the karmic relationships are now finally resolving, Spirit will bring you back together when, you know, there's a lot of evolution that's taken place. But it's like the signs will always repeat and lead back to each other. And even if you've said 100 times, never again, it's over forever and ever. All right, you both are quite scared, but one person is very stubborn and can hold out for a very long time, has a hard time admitting that they're wrong. And the other person, you know, it hurts and it makes them afraid, and it will change. Like spring is like melting all the ice and the snow and allowing the new to spring forth. So let's pull some more cards. Okay, so look at that karmic relationship, and that's under the axe. It's time for that to go, for the real thing to come in or to take place. We have heartbroken, the snake, the butterfly, paradise, and seduction. Yeah, Aries, I know it's confusing when I say for some of you leave the past behind, and then others of you I feel like there is this reconciliation on the horizon. But again, I just really want to emphasize that you will be in a new connection when this ex tries to show up. For those of you where you need to leave that ex in the past, there will be new romance in your life when that person comes knocking on your door again, okay? And when that happens, you just remember this reading and know that this is beautiful, where where this relationship, this romance is leading. And the longer you're in it and further away from that other relationship, you're going to realize that you made the right choice for yourself, okay? And now for those of you where it goes the other way, when spirit brings you back together, neither one of you will be in a relationship anymore, okay? All of that karmic energy will be resolved. And so if they're still with somebody by the time summer comes, then this reading wasn't for you. Spirit's not saying that you're going to come back together, at least not through the months of spring, okay? Because when you come back together, neither one of you will be in a romance. Now, for those of you who are in, you know, commitments, you guys are really turning over a new leaf and leaving the past behind, okay? And that's weird too, because it's split for me. I do see some of you like ready to bounce out of a real toxic connection that you've been in, and it's been on your mind for a while. And like I said, it's like once you get free of that, you've already checked out emotionally, mentally, and energetically. So it's not like you're there, even though you're there physically. It's not like you're there. So you've been going through the emotions, you've been getting over it, even though you're still physically present. And then, you know, when you walk away, it's like you've been single for a while. And I think that's why this romance comes in so quickly, because you already just like went through the emotions for quite some time while still being in that relationship. So that message is pretty consistent for those of you who are seeking to get out of your current connection. And then again, there's some of you where the person who has been screwing up is finally stepping up and willing to fight for this love and do what it takes. So let's pull some tarot. Whoops. Okay, so we have the Three of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Moon, Four of Cups, Justice, and the Magician. Okay, yeah, Aries, it's definitely time for some love, for some new romance in your world. And if you're completely single, Aries, I do see offers coming your way, and a very strong predominant one, where you guys just click, you connect, it feels right. But again, you know, once you're in that space, I do see an ex like trying to sniff back around. Don't sabotage this new beautiful connection for that. Things are finally happening for you, like your ship's coming in regards to love and romance. And you've learned and you've evolved quite a bit. I would say over the last year, just because we have the moon here and we just had the Lunar New Year in February. So you've learned and evolved quite a bit in regards to love and romance over these past year, and it's time for that to change. Karma has been resolved, and you've just got to listen to your intuition and do what's best for you. But ultimately, it's time to leave the past in the past. Whether we're together, you know, if you're with somebody and they're stepping up, it's time to forgive the past and start working and creating, you know, from right now towards your future. And those of you in new beautiful romances, leave the past behind and see where this new love will take you. So those are your messages, Aries. I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.